Most e-commerce brands are sitting at 10% email revenue, maybe 15 if they're lucky, when in reality, they should be at 30 to 40%. And if that sounds like you, I'm going to walk you through the exact Klaviyo system that's helped me and my clients generate over $1 million last year alone. And by the end of this video, you will have a full blueprint on how to actually make email your most profitable marketing channel. And if you don't know who I am already, my name is Patrick, and over the past 3 years, I've helped over 50 plus e-commerce brands generate over $1 million through email. And over those 3 years, I've seen the same thing over and over again. Brands are treating email like this thing that they'll get to eventually, kind of like a side project, when really it should be one of your biggest revenue drivers. Because let's be real, ads are only getting more confusing, more saturated, and more expensive every single month, and Mark Zuckerberg is bleeding your pockets dry. So now it's more important than ever to have a back-end system that actually converts. And that's why I created this ultimate e-commerce guide to Klaviyo email and SMS marketing. So with that said, I just want to get straight into it. Here's the brutal truth. Like I said, ad costs are only going up. Most brands are chained to rising cost per acquisitions because they don't have a backend that converts. So if we look over here, this is the typical e-commerce funnel. As you can see, we have traffic coming in from paid ads and organic media. And as you can see, we captured them as leads. We bring them through this whole funnel, and then they eventually pay us, which is the end goal. So if I show you guys this graph, this is basically the graph broken down with awareness at the top, like I said, from paid ads and organic media. And so if you're like me, you don't look at an ad for the first time and instantly buy. There's a couple steps that you need to take in order to buy. You got to be convinced that the product is good. You need to make sure that the brand is legit. And how do we do that? It's with email and SMS marketing. So that's the consideration step under here. And then actually converting them, this could be things like discounts and different promotions that we're throwing at them. So we convert them as well with email and SMS. And then making these people repeat buyers, aka loyalty, we do that by email and SMS. So with that said, since cost per acquisitions are only increasing, how do we get the most value out of them and convert them effectively? And that's going to be with site lead capture, aka pop-up forms that look like this. So I want you to think about it. Everyone who visits your site is a lead, and a lead means potential money. Plus, if they're viewing your site already, they've clearly shown signs of interest. So if you're getting any type of traffic to your website, especially if you're running paid ads too, then it's essential that you collect their information, or else you're just throwing money at Mark Zuckerberg and you're wasting money. And some of you guys are like this grandma. You're probably thinking, oh, I hate pop-up forms. These are so annoying. But I actually love pop-up forms because I get free money. I get discounts. I get a discount on the things that I want to buy. I get free money essentially. And even if you don't agree with me, you have to utilize pop-up forms on your site, or else your business is going to suffer immensely without them. And like I said, you're going to be wasting money. You're essentially borrowing leads from Meta. Just as a benchmark, a good pop-up form typically captures 8 to 12% of your site viewers and turns them into email subscribers. And then for SMS pop-up forms, typically around 5%. And if you're below 5%, that means you need to test new offers immediately. And this right here is just a basic default pop-up form that you get in Klaviyo that you could add to your website. And this is all right. If you just post this on your website, you're going to get about a 2% conversion rate. But if you were to design this a little bit more, make it more on brand, have a good offer on it, then even if your form goes from 2% to 8%, that means your email revenue will 4x in the long run. So how are we going to do that? We have to test what converts best. Like I said, we have to test different offers. So this could be percentage or dollar-based discounts. It could be free shipping incentives, free bonuses with a purchase or something like that. And something I actually saw the other day was AG1 was giving out a whole basket of goods, a whole bundle when you buy for the first time. And so things like that in your pop-up forms will be really, really good to test because people engage with that stuff immensely. Another thing is giveaways or contest entries or free educational content or mini courses. And then besides the offers, you could also test different triggers for these pop-up forms. So it could be the time it loads onto the screen. Maybe they scroll a little bit and then it pops, or maybe it pops up right before they're going to leave the website. But overall, just mix and match these and make sure to test every single one. You guys know the scientific method. Test one thing at a time and then see from there what works. So moving on. So now let's talk campaigns. Campaigns are essentially your broadcasts. These are sales, launches, seasonal promotions, and value-driven content. So if you're not sending anything already, just start with one a week and then work your way up to 3 to 4 times a week. And then within these campaigns, you're going to want to mix in different promotions with also value content. So this could be product tips, UGC, testimonials, and timely hooks for things like holidays or big pop culture moments that happen randomly. And this is another thing, make sure to only send to your engaged segments. You don't want to ever blast to your whole entire email list. And I'll explain this more later. So moving on, these are going to be 2 really good websites that you could use in order to get inspiration for really good emails. Hence the name reallygoodemails.com. These are going to be 2 really good websites that you could utilize to get inspiration for your email designs to make them look a little bit nicer and make them more engaging. Because think about it. If you send a really bad looking email, no one's going to want to open it up again. But if you have a really nice and creative looking email, people are going to be excited. People are going to get a dopamine rush when they see your email. Hence, they're going to open up your future emails as well. So moving on, these are just a couple of campaign ideas that you could do for your email marketing. It could be customer testimonials. It could be how to use a specific product. It could be your seasonal bestsellers, Mythbusters, messages from the founder. Any of these will work. You just have to be creative and make sure you're standing out versus other email marketers and people in your industry. So moving on to segmentation, here is where most brands mess up. And like I said earlier, they blast everyone on their list. You do not want to be doing this because your deliverability will suffer. And it's actually more expensive if you're doing this because you have to pay for all the engaged contacts within Klaviyo. So just quickly going over this is the segment that I typically build out in all my clients' Klaviyo accounts. As you can see, it's when someone has opened an email at least one time in the past 120 days or has clicked an email at least once in the past 120 days. And the reason why we want to segment people and want to set this up is because people change their emails, people enter fake emails, or our emails are just going straight to the spam. So if we blast emails out to everyone on our email list, not everyone's going to open it. Thus, our deliverability score will suffer, and it's just going to get more expensive within Klaviyo. So these are going to be other segments that you can build out in Klaviyo. So unengaged. So this is going to be everyone who doesn't open or clicks within the past 60 to 90 days. And here we do not want to send promotions because this is going to hurt our inbox placement. Instead, what we should be doing is sending them re-engagement emails. So it could be campaigns that say still want emails, or if not, we could put them through a sunset flow, then suppress these contacts at the end. And then another segment is VIP customers. This is your top 5 to 10% spenders. So we want to send these people early access to new drops, exclusive drops. And then lastly, another segment that you could build is first-time customers. So this is people who place exactly one order. So these are going to be the cheapest customers to convert again. So we want to hit them with upsells and other promotions that might get them to order once more. So moving on, now this is the good stuff. This is going to be our money makers. It's going to be our workflow automation. So I want you guys to think of email flows as emails that run in the background of your business. You don't have to schedule these out. You set them once and then they just run and generate you email and generate you revenue for years to come. They're not one-off campaigns that you manually send. They're automated sequences that trigger when someone does or does not take a specific action. And they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you in the background. And these email workflows can trigger in a variety of different ways. For example, someone could sign up to a pop-up form. Maybe someone abandons their cart while shopping on a site. Someone even buys a product, or someone just doesn't buy in a long time. These are all different ways that a flow can start. And like I said, once they're set up, they just run to an extent, because obviously you're going to need to change some stuff later down the line. But for the most part, these are going to be pretty automatic and just bring in revenue as you are sleeping. So yeah, these are going to be the bare minimum 5 workflows that every single brand needs. So welcome flow, browse abandon flow, abandon cart flow, post-purchase flow, and win-back flow. So these are the 5 ones that I recommend you set up first. Everything else after that is going to be good, but not essential to have. So this image right here is basically all the workflows that I set up for my own clients to make sure that they are taking all the revenue that they can from people entering their site, and basically make revenue in their sleep. So most brands just set and forget their workflows, but healthy brands, like I said, constantly update these. So whether it's a new season, whether it's a new quarter. The best brands around are constantly updating their workflows. And that's it. Other than that, it's all about micro optimizations and testing different things out with your email marketing. So now I want to show you guys a couple of examples on things that you can test to help your email marketing improve. Could be your subject lines, your send delays, incentive offers, or follow-up cadence. And lastly, here are going to be the key performance indicators that you can use just as guide rails for your own brand. So obviously you're going to want to adjust this to your own business model and average order value. But typically, like I said, pop-up forms, you want to get about 8 to 12% of your site visitors converting into email subscribers. And in terms of your actual emails, you want people to be opening them about 40 to 50% of the time. Click-through rate, 1 to 2% is fine. Obviously, the higher the better, but this is a good goal to shoot for. SMS, since we are on our phones and we answer text messages more than emails, we want this to be higher at an 8 to 10% rate. And then, like I said at the beginning, your Klaviyo overall revenue from email marketing and SMS marketing should be 30 to 40%. And lastly, when you're thinking about actual campaigns versus your automated flow revenue, it should be a 50-50 split. But it's okay if one of them has more than the other. That is completely normal as well. And so moving on, if you need help with email marketing, here's the thing. Most agencies will trap you into monthly retainers and they will deliver cookie cutter services, as you guys know. And if they do that, you're going to end up being dependent on them instead of actually owning your own marketing. And that's where we do things differently at Focal Point. My team and I, we set up a full, complete infrastructure. We completely set up all your workflows, all the pop-ups, and build you out a custom 12-month content calendar. At the same time, you're going to be able to own your strategy. You're going to get all the tools and knowledge to manage this in-house instead of depending on an agency. And like I said earlier, most agencies will trap you in monthly retainers, but for us, this is just a one-time investment. We don't do any retainers. We don't do any long contracts, just transparent upfront pricing. So if you guys don't believe the work that I do, this is just a screenshot that I showed at the beginning. Like I showed you, we had a client generate $660,000 total, and $280,000 of that came from our efforts with email marketing. And if you guys don't believe that screenshot either, I'll guarantee you this right here. If you don't double your email revenue in 90 days or less, we'll give you a full refund. And why can we guarantee that? It's because when you have the right infrastructure, results are predictable. So look, you can try to piece this together yourself and maybe it'll work, or you could get the complete proven system that has already generated over $1 million for e-commerce brands last year alone. So if you're tired of being chained to rising ad costs and want to actually build a real email marketing infrastructure that you own, I want to help. So right now we're currently working with a select number of e-com brands doing anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 per month. So if that's you and you're actually serious about doubling your email revenue in the next 90 days, I want you to click the link in the description to see if we're a fit. And so lastly, I want you to remember this. Every day you wait is revenue you're leaving on the table. And your competitors are already building these systems. So don't get left behind. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.